there. Okay, we're going to start looking at assignment number 6. Assignment number 6 is going to be an assembly, but you're going to be creating all of the models for the individual parts, all of the detailed drawings, the assembly model, and then also the assembly drawing. So it's a little bit bigger, if you would. I'm going to call it a small little project that you're going to be working on. It's not an end of the chapter problems. I instead have a specific assignment here for you. So let's look at Assignment 6A. You're going to notice that this is broken into 4 parts. Assembly models, part models, assembly model, then the assembly drawing, and then the detailed part drawings. Okay, so let's look here first at the part models. So I'm going to look at the part models here. You're going to see we want to create the SolidWorks part model of the 6 custom parts for the following. So this is Assignment 6. Now, when we click on it, it says Assignment 8. I'm sorry, this should say Assignment 6, but then this is a PDF on the following pages of an assembly. Now, I also have it underneath my camera, and I want to kind of show you what this is. So you can kind of think of this as, let's say you were given the assignment of, we have a drill jig here. And we have it hand drawn right now, which is exactly this. If we look closely, this is not a CAD drawing. This is a hand drawn manual drawing. And we want to convert it over to CAD. We want to convert it over to SolidWorks. Okay. And so they've got the assembly drawing right here. And this is going to be a jig that's going to put 3 drilled holes in this part. And this is, you don't have to draw the part. The part is just here for an example, and you can kind of see it's shaded here where it's going to fit in here. And it's also going to go around this part so that when the drill comes down through the drill bushings, through the other set of drill bushings, it's going to put in each one of these holes in alignment with one another. Okay, so this assembly is for a drill jig. Okay, now what you'll notice down here is a handwritten bill of material of the corresponding items that we see up here. Just because this is item number 1 does not mean your assembly has to have that as the same item number 1. Okay, you might build this in a different order, and that's okay. But each one of these parts corresponds, and it gives you what the assembly looks like. Now, as we turn the pages here, you're going to notice that then these are the individual parts. Now, on here, they did not give you the corresponding balloon number. So for instance, this right here is the plate that sits right on the top, which is number 7. Okay. And number 7 is called a bushing plate. Okay. So this one right here is number 7, and this is the bushing plate. All right. And then this is your top view or front view and a right side view. Okay, now there are some design changes here, and I referenced that in the description. And you're going to notice that this goes to actually a counterbore depth of 0.5, and these holes go from 1 1/4 inch diameter to 1 inch diameter. Now, I have for you all of the drawing guides. Okay, so if we look here, you're going to notice that you're given all the drawing guides. So if I go back to Assignment 6A, underneath each one of these parts, base plate. This is the drawing guide for the base plate. This is the drawing guide for the knurled head screw. So there are design changes that are different from here, mostly because what happened is from this design process, they missed a couple things, 1 or 2 things, but then I used hardware from the SolidWorks toolbox instead of hardware that they used here, which was a little bit different. Okay, so that was really the biggest difference. So what I want you to do is use the PDF here for a reference, but use each one of these drawing guides as what you actually model from. And these are the final dimensions that are correct. Does that make sense? So you don't have to worry about it. So always go to the drawing guide. Create your models from the drawing guide, make sure that they're there, but use that PDF as a reference. I still think the PDF is a good reference, and it's something that you would, like I said, create, or work from, but these are going to have your final dimensions on. So use these. And that's why I have them under each one of the parts here. So There are 6 parts total that you will be modeling. The base plates, the knurled head screw. So we saw the base plate, the knurled head screw looks like this. Or actually, let me do this. I have them all printed out underneath here. I'll do that instead. It's easier than going back and forth. So this is the final assembly drawing itself. So you're going to notice that you have the assembly together here. This is an offset section. It is not a straight section through. I will be showing you how to do that. And then you're going to see that here are all of our individual parts, bill of material, and then this shows how everything goes together. Okay, so that's your assembly drawing first. Second, this is going to be our bushing plate. So what I have circled here were changes that were made. Okay, so use the drawing guides that have the actual dimensions on for the modeling process. Don't worry too much. You're going to notice that I have GD&T on here. How many of you have seen or had a class on GD&T already in your program? Oh, some of you have, some of you haven't. Okay, I will be explaining that as we go along, but most importantly, I'm going to be showing you how to put it on using SolidWorks, because those are things that you're going to come upon when you're out in industry. So we will be adding the GD&T. That will be something that's new, but we're going to be going over that for each one. So this is your bushing plate. So again, creating the models, use the dimensions that are on the guides. Okay. This is going to be the locator block. This is the middle block. So again, all the dimensions coming from here are going to be what you're going to use for your models. This one's going to be the clamp block. This one is the clamp itself. This is the knurled head screw. And then lastly, this is going to be your base plate. Okay. So as we look at that assembly here, okay, the base plate is the bottom. This locator block is going to be in between. And this is the one that is going to straddle the part in between. This is going to be the clamp, and the knurled head rod, the knurled head screw is going to be threaded, and it's going to go back and forth in here. Here is the clamp block, the bushing plates, and then hardware wise, we've got a double pin here, actually 2 double pins, one here and one here. We've got 3 long socket head cap screws here and 2 shorter ones. And then we also have another double pin here and 2 drill bushings. Those are all hardware that you do not have to draw and that we will be getting from the toolbox. So as we look at our bill of material, the only ones that you're going to be creating the models for are these right here, 6 total parts. Okay. And then we're going to be listing these as standard because these 6 are going to be pulled from the toolbox right out of SolidWorks. You don't have to draw these. These you do not draw models for. We're going to be pulling those from the toolbox. Okay. So step number 1 in this project. Okay. So it's a little bit. So as we look back at that at the assignment, so the first part is going to be, we got to get our models drawn of the individual parts. Don't worry about drawings yet. And again, use those drawing guides for the updated dimensions that are accurate. So that's going to be your models. Then you're going to create an assembly model once we have all those parts modeled. Okay. Once we have the assembly modeled, we can make the assembly drawing that we just saw with the bill of material and the balloons. And then finally, we're going to create those detailed drawings. Okay. So any questions about how this is laid out? So like I said, it's kind of a small little project, if you would, but I have it organized so that you can put the individual parts in each place rather than a lot of things all in one assembly. Katie. I don't have printouts right now, but the PDFs are on there. Once I kind of get done explaining, I could make some copies for those who are here in class. I'm happy to do that. Yeah. Any other questions right now on the assignment? Okay. So that's kind of an overview of assignment number 6. So then what I'm going to be doing now is we'll start looking at some of these individual parts and getting started on those. Okay. So I'm going to